Qatar confirms that there are no casualties from the attack on the US military base. I also do see Vishal with us. Qatar also says it reserves the right to respond following the Iranian attack. Then it says that the Qatari Foreign Ministry has condemned the attack as a clear breach of Qatar's sovereignty, airspace and international law. So you're looking at statements, Vivek, that are just right now coming in. And on our screens, we'll just go full frame looking at these images. And I'm told that these are actually coming in from Qatar, but just two different views to help you understand what really has happened. As far as this particular base is concerned, there are also reports of a base in Iraq, possibly, that has been struck. I will also again tell you that where really are the US bases in and around the Middle East. But on your screens, look at these volley of fires that you see. These are actually those missiles that have been fired, that have struck the bases. Very faintly, you will see some bit of movement there that gets obstructed with that loud noise and that missile strike that has been reported here from two different angles that you see on your screens. And there are people obviously watching all this that has been captured here. Let me see if we can go back also to Vishal, who has been tracking this story, and he has more updates. Vishal, are there more responses coming in? You're looking at dramatic images of this escalation, and Qatar right now also saying that they will retaliate, they reserve the right to respond.
Exactly right. And the Tasneem news agency, which is one of the semi-autonomous, state media organizations in our Iranian regime, they have also come out with a statement giving out the details of the operations. They are clearly saying that they have retaliated against the attacks that US conducted on Iranian soil, bombing three big nuclear facilities, namely Fordo, Isfahan, and Natanz. They claimed, US claimed that they had obliterated the nuclear program, but Iran had denied all that. And now Iran's turn to attack the US bases in the region. It was widely expected that this would happen. We've been continuously reporting that there are at least 25 to 27 US bases in the region, housing 40 to 45,000 US troops. At least 10,000 troops are stationed only in Al-Udeid base that we've been talking about in the last half hour or so. Al-Udeid base is based in Doha, Qatar, and it has 10,000 troops. And so far, there are no reports as to how many troops have been injured or whether these ballistic missiles or whatever they were fired from the Iranian side, how far did they go? The explosions that were heard over Doha, were they explosions on the ground, or they were explosions of air shields defending against the Iranian missiles? Something on the lines of Iron Dome that Israel has. That will be clear in the next few minutes or hours. But so far, it's not clear as to if these missiles fired by the Iranian regime, where they've landed, who they've hit. So far, these visuals clearly show some projectiles in the sky over Doha. They are being intercepted, but it's not clear whether they actually hit the ground or not.
Allow me a moment. I'm also being joined by Shiv right now, the broadcast. Shiv, what more you can add?
This is Iran's big reply. There is no doubt about it. It comes nearly 48 hours after Operation Midnight Hammer, in which the country's three principal nuclear sites were hit by American B-2 Spirit bombers and Tomahawk cruise missiles. Iran, remember, has issued two warnings to America, the United States of America, warning that their citizens will not be safe, that their military bases will not be safe. And it appears from the initial reports coming in, the pictures coming in from the night sky over Qatar's capital, Doha, that at least a part of this warning is playing out in real time. On NDTV, we're bringing you live reports, attributing them to agencies because there is still a measure of doubt over the impact of some of these strikes. But we are given to understand that the military base, the Al-Udeid base, which is a large US base in the small state of Qatar, possibly some military positions of the United States in Iraq and Syria as well, have been struck tonight. So this is Iran carrying out at least a partial retaliatory strike. whether this is going to escalate into something bigger is not known just yet. But remember that the United States has a large number of military positions in all of these countries. It, in addition, also has military positions in places like Bahrain, Kuwait, Syria, and other countries. It is yet to be ascertained whether military positions of the United States in some of those other countries have also been hit. But these images that we have on our screen right now, breaking images, the biggest escalation since Operation Hammer, confirm that Iran is not taking things lying down and they are responding with force. What nature of weapons are being used? Again, we cannot speculate on, but it seems to be quite clear that ballistic missiles of some kind have been employed by Iran in order to attack the Al-Udeid base in Qatar and bases of the United States in Iraq and Syria. Vishnu Shom continues to be with me. Vishnu, we've been discussing the possible retaliation by Iran in the wake of what happened to its nuclear sites at the hands of that operation by United States strategic bombers. This appears to be playing out in different directions. There appear to be missile strikes, or at least attempted missile strikes, over the skies of Doha. The Al-Udeid base is on the outskirts of Doha in Qatar. It's a large base as well, but there are no shortage of US military positions in this entire area, in the Gulf, in Saudi, in Kuwait, in Bahrain, in Oman. All of these places have US military positions, Vishnu.
Number of American soldiers and airmen and sailors deployed across the Middle East is massive. We are looking at tens of thousands of American soldiers, in fact, 40 to 50,000 US troops, airmen, pilots, reservists, sailors, all of them. Now, this is Oman that we've spoken about. They have facilities in Egypt, in Saudi Arabia, in Jordan, in Bahrain, in Syria, in Iraq, right? And it's not just air bases, there are naval facilities as well. Now, Iran, it just seems clear to me, if you look at the larger picture which is now emerging, that Iran is sending a message that this regime in Iran will fight to the end. It appears to me that they have taken that into their calculation. If America or Israel had expected them to come to the table, well, then they don't at this juncture appear to be willing to do that. Therefore, we are at this stage seeing a massive widening of the conflict with the Iranian attacks on Qatar, on Doha itself, Al-Udeid, the largest American facility of its type. And what we did see over there on your screens were interceptions. They've got Patriot missile units deployed over there. They would have possibly THAAD, THAAD missile units deployed over there, which operate at a higher range. This area is very well defended. America has got its defenses, the defenses of all of these West Asian, Middle Eastern nations, extremely strong, primarily relying on American weaponry. Therefore, the success of these Iranian attacks would perhaps not be very, very successful, at least not unless they, used a massive number of missiles to actually go in and attack, and nobody knows the number of ballistic missiles that Iran really has left at this stage. But it's an expansion. Qatar says that they have the right to retaliate. Qatar operates an extremely advanced air force. They operate a plethora of frontline aircraft, not least of which is the Rafale fighter itself. They can easily go ahead and attack Iran firsthand. Yeah. Remember, the Iranian Air Force has been entirely depleted already. So Iran would have taken the step shift, knowing fully well that a response would almost certainly be happening. I would suggest that it would happen just in the next couple of hours.
In the next couple of hours, all sorts of news breaks coming in locally from the Middle East right now. Saudi fighter aircraft already apparently in the air, according to some reports. What kind of response is going to take place will need to be seen. Remember, the Gerald Ford aircraft carrier is not very far from what's going on right now. There are American submarines and ships in the Persian Gulf at this point of time. So there are many things that can happen by way of an escalation from this point. But tonight on NDTV, as we bring you these very troubling live pictures from Qatar. Remember, Qatar is a country which has a large Indian population as well. That's just a side piece of information. But at this point of time, the Al-Udeid base in Qatar and at least 3 or 4 other US military positions in different countries, including Iraq and Syria, have reportedly been struck by Iranian missiles, demonstrating that Iran continues to have a long-range offensive capability and the ability to strike with precision.